everyone, this is Rebecca from Papeterie de Choix and welcome to my studio. Today I have a project that I made a few days ago, kind of by accident. I have a paper pad that I picked up at Hobby Lobby on clearance about 4 or 5 years ago, and I've never done anything with it. And I was looking at it the other day and thinking, you know what, I need to do something with this. I bought it when I really didn't know what direction my crafts were going to take me and that sort of thing. And plus, we all know that if you find something on sale, you're going to buy it, especially if it's cheap enough. So I picked out a page, this one in the background here. And I started kind of folding and, playing around with it. And then I got to thinking about some of the file folder Friday projects that I did. And I was like, can I, marry the two together a little bit? And so my mind started working, so I just kind of went with it. So what I have created is actually I'm using two 12 by 12s for this, and in the second one, now I was making this up as I go along, so it might not turn out that way every time, but I had this piece and these two small pieces left on the second sheet, and on the first sheet I had nothing left. So I'm going to show you my idea, and it can be tweaked absolutely. Also, I had a thought of some of these papers in this paper pad are directional, and so I thought you could turn it this way because it folds here. You could turn it this way and you could put it in your book this way. Of course, it's 6 inches across here, but I made it to go up and down and just insert in a pocket. So I don't know which side is the back and the front. They're exactly the same. I could look to see because I got my layers just kindly off a little bit. But anyway, so here we go. So I made this little closure. It's kind of like a giant clip, sorta, that just goes down in the opening like this. And there you have, it's closed. So when you open it, it's the full length of the 12 by 12. And I'm actually going to show it this way because I don't think it's going to fit on the screen otherwise, but that's okay. We'll do it this way. So I did the outside first. So on the outside, I put two pockets. This is from the second sheet, obviously. And I didn't ink anything, one, because it was a prototype, and two, this is blue and white paper, and I didn't think it'd look right. So this is just a little folded, like a note card type thing. There is a pocket here that has a thumb notch on the front with a piece of card in here to write on. That just fits right in there. And then this one is exactly the same. If I can get my hand to cooperate. So it's the same here. So, and then when you open it up, you have a bigger pocket here, just one single pocket, and the same here. Now, like I said, this could be tweaked absolutely, and more pockets added, different things. So basically what I did was I cut a portion off the 12 by 12, folded it, and to make myself this long skinny pocket that's actually does go all the way through, but it's folded here. I put 3 score lines here, and it's folded on the middle one so that it could expand if you added a lot to it. But basically that's it. Now the only thing that is fiddly is this part right here. Just putting that little thing right back so that it goes over the whole thing. I started to put a closure that was like glued to one side and folded over. But as I was doing it, somehow this motion, I did something that was this motion. I'm like, oh, wait, let's investigate that a little further. So I kind of like that, so I don't think I'll do anything different there. But I did write down some instructions, and then I started finishing it and didn't write anything down past about 4 or 5 steps. So I hope I can remember what to do. But this is what we're going to work on, and so pick you out a couple of 12 by 12s or any square paper. You could do this on smaller scales, absolutely. The one thing that I would recommend, now this paper is cardstock, but it's thin cardstock, so it doesn't create a lot of bulk. This would not be good for anything thick at all because you got a lot of folding right in here. It's also good for one-sided paper as opposed to double-sided, because you really, other than this little part here, when you take the card out, like right here, if I can get a hold of it, this is the only real inside that you see. So you could, if you use paper that shows the background, but you don't want it to, and it's sort of a vintagey type look, then you could absolutely ink that part so that, you know, it carries through and doesn't show the white. So, alright, so let me pick out a couple of pieces of paper to do this project with, and I will be right back and we'll get started. Okay, I've picked out my papers, and I probably just moved my my thing here. I went this weekend to help my daughter clean her attic out, and she was getting rid of stuff, and she says, "Mom, you want this?" I actually bought this for her about 3 or 4 years ago, along with some other sewing stuff, and she's got 3 kids and fostering another one, so yeah, she don't have time to sew right now. 4 kids under 5 and under, so a little later in life. But anyway, the one thing I think I forgot to say was on the sheet that you're going to make the body with, this background, it really does need to be a multi-directional. It could work, but one side will be upside down. So that's why I chose this. However, the pockets and whatnot that you put on it can be one-sided, because you'll be cutting it up and you can layer your pockets however you want to. So these are the 2 papers that I've chosen. I really, really love this one. I'm not as happy about this one, but it'll be okay. Alright, so I'm going to put this one aside for a second and hope that everything cooperates with me. So the very first thing that you'll need to do is get out your paper cutter and put your paper in, and you want to cut from top to bottom. So sometimes you cut horizontally to do things. On this one you're going to be cutting top to bottom, so this is your top and your bottom here, and I cut it at 8 1/4. Yeah, cut top to bottom at 8 1/4. So 8 1/4, and then what you have left here on this strip is what I use to make the little like note cards. So, and I will be putting these measurements up on the screen so that you can see them. Okay, that's basically all the cutting that we do on the body of this part. So now you want to bring in your scoreboard, and this can be laid to the side for now. And you want to score at 4 inches all the way up and down from top to bottom. you want to score at 4 inches. And then again at 8 inches. So you just have that little 1/4 inch lip sticking up there. Okay, and then turn it so that your side is at the top of your board. Let me pull this down just in case I'm not in shot. I moved it so I know that it's a little bit off. So the way I did it is I knew that I wanted my middle to be scored. So I scored my first line at 6 inches, like so. And then I scored 1 mark on either side of the 6. So you're going to be scoring at 5 7/8, 6, and then 6 1/8. But it was easier for my brain to comprehend it as put a score line in the middle and then put 1 on either side. And this is what gives you expansion at the bottom should you need it when you put ephemera and stuff in it. So when you turn it over, it should look like this. You should have 3 scores across the middle horizontally, 1 in the middle or almost in the middle here, and then the 1 on the edge. So that's how it should look from the back side. Now, so the first thing I did, it says fold on each of the horizontal lines to loosen it up. So I just came in and each one of these horizontal lines, and the way I do that is I've got them scored 1 inch or 1/8 of an inch apart. So I just keep manipulating the paper until each one of those lines is scored. And I've got one more here, the very last one, that I need to just make sure it's got some fold in it. Now I didn't crease anything at this point. Basically you're just kind of loosening up your paper so that it's going to be easy to do all these folds here in just a minute. Okay, and then you want to fold under this 1/4 of an inch on your edge here. Now one thing that I didn't do, or at least I don't think I did, on the prototype that I am going to do here is I want to miter this little corner here. So to do that, I'm just going to come back in because I didn't think about it before. But if you haven't got to this point yet and haven't folded anything under, just fold it in half at your 6 inch mark and just miter that corner. And that just keeps a little bit of that bulk out. So go there, but don't go any deeper than your 1/4 of an inch. I came very, very close. Okay, next you want to fold it in half from top to bottom, which is vertically, like so, so that you put your little 1/4 inch underneath, and that way you have a smooth line down through here. And then what you'll have is 2 openings, one here and one here. Now, this is basically what we're going after. Now, I put a hole punch, just a 1 inch on this side, and I'll have plenty of room to do it. But if you have a bigger hole punch that won't fit in this space, then put your folded edge is going to go to your inside. So that means this one with the quarter inch fold on it will be your outside. So if your punch will not fit in the slot that the pocket makes, then go ahead now and put you a thumb notch in the either end here. Let me put it over here. Either of these ends. But I have a small one, so I'm going to wait just a minute to do that. Or at least I think I am. But I could do a different size though, couldn't I? Yes, I'll do a different size. Now on the other one, the thumb notch was an afterthought. So I had to do it that way. So here, I'm going to do it this way. Just to, now I have a small one of these, like I guess the next size down. This one's 18 by 24. I have a 12 by 18 that I bought to do paper crafting with, and I don't want to use it yet. I'm still using my old cutting board that I picked up at a thrift store, or a cutting mat rather. But then I have the bigger size, the 24 by 36. It's under my bed, and I use that just for when I'm doing fabric. Okay, so let me get my mind back on what I'm doing here. So I just kind of make my middle. Now for me, I do want it to match on the other end, so I'm going to use the pattern, or the space rather, here. If I can get all of my little lines lined up. I could have folded it and done it all together. Note to self: fold your papers and cut them all at one time. Okay, good enough. Alright, now back to the assembly. So now what you're going to do is, if you want to just burnish that a little bit so it'll lay down a little better, go ahead and do that. And then just run you a bead of glue along this little 1/4 inch fold. And now these corners could have been mitered, but when you use the full length on the other side, it really needs something to stick to. So I would not recommend mitering these two corners, just for that purpose. Now, the next thing you're going to do, I'm going looking back at my directions. Okay, so I'm going to put it toward me so I can see what I'm doing. But you just want to lay your paper down so that everything is nice and flat. Wipe off any glue that comes out, and then turn it over and just make sure your paper is lined up on the other side. Now I use this as my guide, and I'll straighten it up, and then if I need to push the fold out where I've scored it over there, then I'll do it that way, like that, and let all of the slack go over into that fold line. And so now I'm just going to press this and get the glue nice and dry, although it technically has already set. But I'm going to get it scored, or not scored, but pressed, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so when you're done, you should have something that looks like this. Now, I burnished it along, when I folded it up, I burnished it along the 6-inch mark. but those other score lines are still in there. So if you expand it by putting stuff in there, then because they have been folded, they will, you know, stretch out as you go along. So that's it for the base of it. Now I lost my piece of paper here. Now I need to pull out my prototype here so I can look at how I did this to make sure. I do want to make another one exactly the same. Okay, so that's the width, and I think I did 2, and then what was left over is what I made this with. So this is a little less than 4 inches. Be like 3 3/4 or something like that if I remember right. Yeah. Okay. But this would be 4 inches. So what you want to do is bring your cutter back in and cut yourself 2 cards or 2 pieces of this paper that are 4 inches. And those are little note cards for your pocket. Now, in my directions that I wrote for myself, the last thing that I wrote down was put the thumb notch in. So everything else I'm sort of going from memory and hoping that I get everything right and in the right order. So the way that I did this one was I took the piece that was left over. Let me move those to the side. I took the piece that was left over, folded it in half, and then folded up about a 1/2 inch, I think it was, and then created this little tab to go on it for the pull. So bringing back in the scoreboard for this one. Now, when you do it, you want to make sure that you want your 3 3/4 is what you want for this width, because if it's 4, if you do it this way, it won't fit because your pouch pocket is already 4 inches wide. So you need to make sure that this is the side that goes this way when you make this. So the first thing is, this is 4 inches, so score it in half. This would be the horizontal score line, and then score a 1/2 inch in from each end. I'm having a hard time getting my little thing here to go where it's supposed to. Operator error, I'm sure, because see, I missed that one. Okay, so then just fold it in the middle, and since I messed it up, I'm going to make sure I got mine in the middle. So yeah, don't do what I did and make your score line kind of off center. So there's that. Okay, and then fold under your 1/2 inch here. That just gives it some strength with the going in and out of the pocket. And give it a little glue on both sides. And then I'm going to give it a little press. Okay. Alright, so that's that. And there it is. So I'm just going to lay this to the side because I did the tab in the alternate paper, or the pocket paper, so we'll add that part on shortly. The next thing I want to do is just round the corners on these 2 little, essentially, note cards. and you can, I folded mine to put them in the outer pockets, and that's what I'm going to do with these, but you can leave yours flat if you want. That's completely up to you with how you want to arrange them, and it's also up to you how you want to put your pockets in. You might like a different way of doing it than what I've done. And so I'm just going to make one that's close to the original as possible. But if you have your own way you want to put pockets on, it's actually, with this diamond shape here, you could put almost like a corner pocket here, and then overlay it with maybe a corner pocket this way, and that would give you a pocket in the back, and then two here. That's a thought. I mean, there's tons of variations. You could actually kind of use your paper as the pattern. Now what I did was I just cut a width, put a thumb notch in, and glued two of them down and made two pockets like this, and did that on either side. So, and the first thing I did was cut out two 6-inch cards that would fit down in here, and then with what I had left is what I used to make the rest of these pockets. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to cut this paper down, and it should be 3 3/4. I'm just going to double check my measurement, since I just got carried on with crafting and didn't, yeah, 3 3/4, and didn't write anything else down. So just to make it easier, I'm going to just pull my paper all the way through, lay it down at 3 3/4. And there's the cards. Of course, I do have to cut them at 6. And hopefully I'm in shot. I did raise the camera up a little bit when I turned it back on a few minutes ago. Okay. Now we're going to round these corners. And like I say, you can make this any size, as long as you start out with a square piece of paper. And let that go right down in there. And there you go. Now, because this is one thing that I did do, because there is a little bit of bulk in there, and also because you've got that 1/4 inch fold, I just went in and made sure that I didn't have any little glue sticking down in there. And pull the pockets back out a little bit, fold it back up, put them back down, and that brought them down a little bit. Okay, so there's that little part done. Okay, from this point on, my memory is a little fuzzy. I don't hesitate to admit that. So, I really wish that, I probably should have turned my thing around. Anyway, I guess I'll figure it out from here. So, we've got 8 1/4 inches. And this is 4 inches wide. So, I want to put, I'm going to cut for these two pockets, and they may not be equal. I may go by the design more than anything else, but this one is 2 inches. So my thought here is to go kind of right above this line right in there. So let's see where 2 inches gives us. That looks good. So I'm just going to cut off 2 inches there. And I need 2 cards that are 3 3/4, I believe. But now I can make these wider. I did want to leave a little bit of border just so you could see it better. I made these 3 1/2. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with 3 1/2 because I like that border look. So I'm going to cut 2 at 3 1/2, and let's see where that falls. Right in the middle of that flower that I was wanting to keep. Let's go back this way. See where that one falls. 3 1/2. Okay, that's good. So we're going to cut this one. That'll be a pocket. And then we'll cut this one in the right place. And that will be a pocket. And so I did have a few little pieces, you know, to put in my paper scraps, or you could make teeny tiny journaling cards out of them. But so here is my 2 lower pockets. Make sure that they are the right way up. This is just a little shortcut that I use, and I need a bigger desk. So 3 1/2 inches in the middle of 3 1/2 inches would be 1 3/4. So I'll just put me a little mark there, like that, instead of using the ruler, because it's going to be cut out anyway. So just going in here, finding a place to hold it so that it all stays like it should be. And there we go. Now, so there's the 2 lower pockets. Then for the 2 upper pockets, I didn't have them go all the way down to the bottom, because that would just create bulk. It just goes under slightly, but you can put something all the way to the bottom, because I didn't glue it across this way, so you can put something all the way to the bottom. Now what I need to do is figure out where. I think I gave myself like a 1/2 inch, so let's go with that. Yeah, let's call it 2 1/2 inches. I'm feeling for the paper, but I'm not feeling it. So maybe 2 1/4 inches. I guess I could just do it this way, couldn't I? Kind of look in there and see what I can see. Yeah, we're going to do these at 2 1/4, or where the pattern would look good also. We'll take that into consideration. So 2 1/4. I wish I quit doing that. I've got a big rotary. It has a rotary on one side and a guillotine on the other, but it's really big for this workstation. I think that'll look okay. Yeah, okay. So 2 1/4. Make sure my paper's straight. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go 3 1/2. Let's see where that, again, that puts us right through the middle of the flower. So let's see what this side gives us. 3 1/2, that's much better. So there's one. And there's another. These would be really cute to make some fake stamps with when the little pieces left over like this. So again, bringing in the scoreboard, making sure everything's right side up, because my brain is a little bit fried just from being at my daughter's, so I'm just double checking myself completely. I've been back about a day and a half, and week before last I actually pulled a muscle in my back, and so right now I'm kind of loaded up on pain medicine so that I can actually stand here and do this. At first I thought I was just having other issues, gastro issues, and that sort of thing, because I'm really bad to have kidney stones, and so I thought at first that's what was happening, and then it's like, nope, that is not what is happening. I've got something I've never had before. So yeah, and when I have a very high pain tolerance, but when it gets to a certain point I can't think straight, but that's not happened yet. This is part of the normal the normal part of me. My goodness. Okay, so we've got two that's just a little bit taller and two that's a little bit shorter. So as I was saying before my battery died, to make life a little bit simpler, I'm going to glue these two pockets together before I glue the whole thing on here. So just kind of want to match them up as to which one I want to go with which, to see how it would look the best. And I think I like that the best. Alrighty. So basically I just want enough glue on this. Not enough glue. I want to put this on just below. Better if I do it this way. And I probably put that glue way too far down. Don't put your glue too far down. I just want to put it just slightly above the thumb notch. So I'm going to go about this far. Like that. And again, I'm not inking anything in this project because of its, I guess, blue and white nature, so to speak. But whatever project that you have, feel free to absolutely ink. If I had some dark blue ink, which I don't, but if I did, I would definitely be inking these in dark blue. Definitely. Okay. Now, I want to do the same thing on this side, except this time I'm going to do it this way. And I'm going to line that up like that. Oh look, you can see where I cut it. It lines up. Since I didn't measure anything like I normally do, well, look at that. It all lines up. What happened to my glue? My glue is like, you didn't put enough on to do anything. So, alright, let's try that again. Needs to be like that, not shoved in the corner so roundish. Alright, so do that one more time. So it can all take a hold like it's supposed to. And make sure everything's straight. Straight, straight, straight. Alright. Yay. Okay. Now, we're going to run a bead of glue around all the way down through here, and all the way across here, and down through here. I'm not putting glue here because I want that pocket to be the full length depth, so that even if you put something in the back of it, it'll go all the way down here as opposed to stopping here. So that's why I layered it the way that I just did. Now, with this, I'm going to just eyeball a border that sort of looks the same all the way around. And sort of just, well, it looks pretty good as best I can tell. So we'll just press that down there, turn it over, do the same thing with the glue, just down the side, across the bottom, and down the other side. And stick your finger in the glue. Right. Now the reason I'm holding it this way is when I put this other pocket down and I look at it straight down from the side, I can tell if I've got the bottoms even, and that's kind of what I'm going for. Here. So I'm looking, and this side needs to come down just ever so slightly bit. Alright, we're calling that done. Alright, now we've got, that's the wrong one. It's like, what am I got here? Okay, so we've got these two that we're going to put right here, like so. Okay, that looks okay. Now I just want to see how it looks, but I'm not quite ready to do that just yet because I need that glue to set. Alright, but what I can do is I can take, I'm going to take the longer one of these. I'm going to fold it in half. This is just out of one of the little bitty scraps. And well, yeah, it looks fine either way here actually. I am going to round these. How did I do this one? On this one I rounded the top, and I actually didn't think about rounding these till I glued it on, so I had to do these by hand. I don't want to do that this time around. I don't want to have to do that. Okay, I think these, I'm just going to do 4 rounded corners because this one's considerably shorter than the one here, and that will look just fine. Okay, now the first thing I need to do, this is 1 1/4 inches. This should be 3 3/4. Yep. So I'm going the old-fashioned way now and using my ruler so that I know for sure what I'm doing here. Okay, 3 3/4. let's see. This is how I do math sometimes when my brain don't want to work. Half of 3 is 1 1/2. Half of half is a quarter. So, and then half of a quarter is an 1/8. So 1 7/8 should be the halfway point. Right there. Looks pretty good. Now this is 1 1/4 inches. So again, half of an inch, or half of an inch is half. Half of a quarter is an 1/8. So half plus an 1/8. And there's the middle that way. So math simplified or made complicated depending on how you want to look at it. So here, what I'm doing is, let me double check how I did this. Okay, I glued together the top of it, like, let's put it down just a little bit more. So I glued just whatever little tab you use, glue down about the top third-ish of it. Then figure out which side you want to be, like the quote-unquote the front. And then, without putting a fold in it if possible, go back in and put a little glue just on either side, because these are going to be separate at this point. Now, I put my mark on this side. So that pencil mark I made there, I want to line right up with the pencil mark I made on the thing, and I'm just going to push straight down until I get it where I want it. And I think that right there looks okay. I'm just going to take my ruler and just kind of see how straight I am, because it's a little bit hard to tell, and this side actually needs to come down just a little bit, but that glue is pretty much set, so I guess that's how it's going to be. Can't tell that much actually about it. And then I'll just come in and erase that little mark. Okay, so there's our closure. Just it'll take it a few times or it might work the first time, you know. You never know about these things. You do it this way. What I did with mine was I kind of gently pushed it apart slightly so that it would fit. Okay, so there we go. So that's that little part. Now, what we have left is this kind of squarish piece of paper, and on the, I might have more of this left over than I thought, but I could have swore I used the whole thing minus those few scraps, so I don't know. You can always add more pockets. I could put pockets on the inside just like I did on the outside on this, instead of the one deep pocket. So that's a thought. But honestly, I don't want to do that. The other thing I can do is just make a kind of a shallow pocket and make 2 more cards. That I like better. So on the inside, I think I made these and then I folded under so that this I folded under like a 1/2 inch, I think, or well, maybe about an inch actually, so that this top would have some extra strength. Yes, I did do that. So, but I want mine to be just a little bit shallower. So I'm going to go for 3.5 inches. Yes. Or, let's see. Let's maybe do it this way. 3.5 inches. Yeah. Much better. And then I'll fold under here, and that way these plants or flowers are still right in the best view. So 3.5 inches. This sheet will become note cards. I forgot to cut it in two. So let me bring this back in. Because these need to be the 3.5. Also this way. 3.5 this way. Well, it's going to cut that in two no matter what, so let's go right back here. There's one. And there's two, and there's just a little strip left over. There is just a little bit of extra pieces, but they definitely could be incorporated into this. Not an issue. Okay. Now I want to score. I'm putting these both together. I want to score these at 3 inches. So I'm doing one at a time, even though I have them kind of layered up together. 3 and 3. Making all kinds of noise over here. Then you just want to fold down that 1/2 inch there. Give it a burnish. And the same here. Fold it down, give it a burnish. And then put some glue along that edge to secure it. And now we're going to go right down the sides across the bottom, and not a straight line at all, it would seem. And open this up, and I'm going to do this sideways, I think. I guess I can do it this way. Just make sure to leave you a border. I'm going to try to match it up similar to the pockets on the front, but make sure you leave yourself a border so that it can still fold in half. You don't want to put more bulk down there, so give yourself a little bit of a border. Okay. Okay, then turn it around. Put glue on your other pocket. Actually, I found that when I'm putting glue on along the edges like that, if I hold my glue, the hand that have my glue in still, and move the paper, I actually get a better straight line. But I don't always remember to do that. Okay, so over here, just kind of visually line it up to the one you've already put down. And I am going to take out my ruler though. Put it just a touch too high, and that's way too low. That needs to go up just a smidgen. Whoops. Or just, move it around across your papers, ever how you want to. That's how this seems to be going. Alright, now it needs to go that way just a little bit. It still looks a little bit too far away. One thing I'm going to do too is take that out and this one out before my glue sets completely. Okay. Well, I'm doing the wrong one. No wonder it didn't look right. Alright. I know I keep messing with it because but I'm going to leave it this time. Okay. Good deal. Okay. Let's put these little cards back in here. And put that there. Now, we've got this piece of paper that we can cut, I think, cut it into about 4 pieces. Yep. 8 1/8. Now that's going to be a little bit too mind-boggling to get. What am I doing? Wrong implement. I need the cutter. Okay. So 2 inches each, basically. Or we'll do 2 inches and then I'll divide the other one. So 2 and then 2 again, and then this one should be 4 1/4. Yep, 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut this at 2 1/8 right there. So I'm going to round these corners. And I'm going to put these in here. And then we have these that can go there as the contrast. And then I'm going to do, I don't know, I think they're actually going to work better here, honestly. But I like the idea of the contrast, so we'll stick with that. And then around these corners. My thing telling me I'm about to run out of time, so I better get on with the program. So we're going to put that in there, and this in here. Okay, and put our little tab in the pot, in the top. My goodness, I actually want it to hold that card, so we're going to do it just this way, and there we go. And this could be tweaked and changed and, you know, made into other things. With different pockets and all such as that. The waist is very, very minimal, as you can see, and so there we go. Now there's something different. It has a little bit of almost like a waterfall effect, maybe going in the opposite direction. But anyway, that's the project for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Make you some of these in various sizes. I'd like to try it with an 8x8 and just to see how it goes. I might have to cut a 12x12 down, and then I can use the extra pieces for little journaling cards. I also want to make them in different styles. I want to make something from some vintage paper, maybe some double-sided even, depending. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you with another video very soon.